So, good evening, all. So, the content for today, this is very first session for our PM training. The content what we brought for today's session is just to give you an overview of what is business process, how this business process or happen in any manufacturing sector or any company. So, we will give you the overview of what is business process, what are the quality management business process, why we are using ERP, and why particularly we have to use SAP as a ERP in any company, what SAP has benefits compared to other ERPs, right? So I can understand we have mixed audience here. Few people having work experience in companies, few people even have work experience as in consulting area already in other modules, and few are very freshers and they never tasted the company environment, how it would be or what kind of business processes happens day to day in any company, right? So I thought of going from very basic to keep everyone understand what is business process. So what is business process in any company? If we take, we could see a standard business flow, like the company will have a sales department.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Because company is running to make something and sell that to customer and make benefit out of it, right? Make profit out of it. So it has a sales department, and this company will also have a logistics. Again, we can tell store and other areas. We will be having stores, because we make something and we will store them, and based on the customer demand we will sell it to customer, right? Then there will be a production department. Production, that should be fine. Will be a production department, because they are the one, they are going to make the product that is going to be sold. There will be also another departments like, say, HR department. We will have procurement departments. Yeah, like this. Maybe these are the standard divisions or departments that we could see in any companies, right? In few companies there will be exceptions or any additional departments as well, but any company will have these departments, right? So when a sales requirement comes, or when a request comes from any customer, that is, for example, we have a company which is making a pen or which is making a car, right? So when customer asks, or that I need to have, I would like to buy this many quantity of cars or this many quantity of pen, then this will be checked in the store, that whether we have a stock to sell them. If there is no stock, then there will be a request created to a production department that we have a customer requirement, we have to deliver them, could you please make this? And then production team will check their capacity. Okay, we have a line capacity to make, and they will make that product. They will plan it first, how they will make, like whether they have a capacity or they have a raw material to make, they have a manpower to make, right? So if they don't have manpower, they will reach the human resource department, to get the required manpower to make the stock to sell it to customer. If there is no raw material available to make the end product that customer asked, then they will ask procurement team to procure those raw materials to provide, so that production team can make their production. Once production happens, that means once they made the product, then this product will be moved to store. Then from the store, logistics team will deliver that to particular customer. So this is how any company runs, right? Now, what is business process? So to have this complete flow, each department has their day-to-day processes. For example, when a sales order comes or when a request comes from customer that we need this much quantity of this product, or this much quantity of pen, or this much quantity of car, or this much quantity of bike, right? So this sales team, we have to properly receive their request, they have to document, and they have to convey this requirement to store and other productions, and they have to deliver that product further, and they have to make the invoice. That means they have to make the billing documents. So this is what we call it as a process, business process. What is the activities that they do in systematic way, that we call it as business process, right? So if you take in sales, as I said, so receive the request, or they receive the request from customer, they check their inventory. Inventory is nothing but the stock, whether they have the particular quantity requested by customer is in stock or not. Check the inventory. If inventory is there, then they will deliver from inventory. If inventory is not there, then they will communicate to production team. Then production team will process further. Let's say inventory is there. Now they will, what they will do, deliver to customer, get the payment, and submit the bill, or issue the bill and get the payment. There are breakups in this process. I'm just putting it high level. What happens? Get the payment. So in high level, in sales departments, these are called as business process. So how they do their the regular activity, complete or fulfill their business requirement. That is called a business process. Same like this, every department has their own set of business processes. As a company will have a complete flow of business process, and again you can break it to every department. Okay, for example, if you take sales, this business process on eye level they follow. If you take logistics, then there is for logistics, they receive the request from sales team, and they check what is there in the stock, and they packed or not. They check the packing. If packing is not done, they pack as per the customer requirement, and they deliver to customer. If there is no stock, then further this will flow to production team to make that product and bring into stock. Then production will communicate to procurement, and accordingly the process goes. So like this, every department has their process. So now if we come to quality, right? So as we specifically have to talk about quality management, what processes we have, right? So quality is the module, or quality is the department that integrates with every department, right? So every department in one or two process, in one or two their business process will have integration with quality management. That means they will have connectivity with quality management, or they will have, you know, they will get disturbance from quality management. Normally people says like this in any manufacturing industry, because this quality people will disturb everybody, and they don't like to sell, they don't like to manufacture, they don't like to buy, right? So quality people will involve in every department's business process, or they will be a small part of in every process, right? So what are the process quality management as? Let's say in this above flow, the production team would like to make a product, but they don't have a stock with them, right? So they need to buy raw materials, which is required to make their product. If you take pen as example, to make the pen, they don't have the raw materials, so they don't have the components. They have to buy that components and they have to assemble. Now they will approach procurement team to buy that component, and so that they will assemble. Now when procurement team goes to buy, right, so they will raise a purchase order, or because these are the documents that to keep it systematic and, you know, documented evidence. So they will have a purchase order, right, or purchase request, or any document that they issue or they make agreement with supplier, right? Purchase, they will just raise purchase request. Let's not go into technical things like purchase order and other thing. Let's say they are requesting the product, so we will say purchase request. They will issue purchase request to supplier. Who is supplier now? Person or the company who is going to supply that raw material or component which is required for us to make our product. They are called as our supplier, right? Or they will also be called as a vendor, right? So now this supplier will make that product and they will send back that product to us, right? And they will bill it to us. Now supplier sends supplier sends the material to us, yes, and they bill it, that we will keep separate. Now when the supplier sends this component or raw material, now quality team has to inspect this, because whatever they are sending, we have to make sure that it is having a good quality, because then only we can make our final product is having good quality when we sell it to customer, right? Maybe in case of pen, if you're buying refills and top cap and bottom caps separately, and in that case they have to make sure that the finishing of the top cap and bottom cap is good, it is not having any damage, refill is good, it is filled, and it is writing in good way and there is no issue. So they have to make sure that it is having a good quality. So that is why now quality will inspect here. Quality will inspect the material received from the supplier. Then once the quality is accepted, they will quality will inspect and they say, okay, this is okay or this is not okay. So there could be a two different business process. If it is okay, then this will be moved to store. That means the product what we bought from the supplier is good, so this can be kept in the store to consume to make this final product again, right? So Now, let's say if it is not okay, quality team has found some issues and they are not accepting, right? So they will say, so this can be returned to supplier for replacement, right? Or this can be scrapped. Scrapped. It's a straight meaning that they discuss with supplier that okay, whatever you sent is having issue. Would you like to send this back to you so that you will replace, or shall we scrap here so that you will do another, you you will send another product for replacement instead of avoiding the logistic charges in sending this back, because after sending this back it's of no use, then he is also going to scrap. In that case few supplier will tell okay, you scrap it there. So in basic what we have to understand, if it is not okay, you can, in any company business process flow like they will be returning it to supplier, or they'll scrap, right? Or they will temporarily keep in the blocked area if they are waiting for some more review and decision, right? Block and keep in quarantine area. So in any company there will be a quarantine area, so they'll just move and keep it in quarantine area, right? So this is the involvement of quality in buying any product or any raw material or component. Let's say you bought this and all the raw materials are good, and this raw materials are already stored to use in production. Now production has started. Now production team will pick that and they will assemble and they will make final product, right? So now your raw materials are all available and production is going to start because you have raw material. Let's assume raw material is there, necessary raw materials are there to make your product, and you also have the capacity to make the product. So now when production starts doing the production, so production for having the process formed and in systematic way, they also will have a production order or job order or work order. There are various terminologies being used in different companies like production order, job order, or work order. Just to communicate to the shop floor team that yes, you make this part of this much quantity. What this is the information will be mentioned in that production order or job order or work order, right? So what is being mentioned, how much you have to make, what are the line you are going to use, or how many resource, which resource or which machine we are going to use, how many quantity we have to make. So those are the information that will be kept on the production order or job order or work order. So in production department they will have a job order issued to the shop floor.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Now shop floor guy executes the production. Shop floor means the production line. What is production activities? So there might be, for example, if you take the pen, they have to check and they have to assemble as a pen. They have people, they have top cap, they have bottom cap. They have to assemble everything and they have to make as a pen, right? So this is production activities. Then they are doing production execution, right? So here also quality will inspect. Quality will inspect, right? So what they will inspect? The quality inspection will be performed to make sure all the operations they are doing or all the activities they are doing are being done as per the standard procedures, right? Because in any company there will be a standard process, or that will be called as SOP, standard operating procedure. There will be a document that will be given to the shop floor that if you are making this pen, you have to follow this process. You have to assemble like this. You have to, put it in this torque. Or you have to first assemble bottom, then you have to check the refill, then you have to assemble the top cap, then you have to assemble the cap. So there are certain process that has to be followed, and for each operation there will be a quality parameters. Like for example, if you are fixing the top cap and bottom cap, right? So there will be a fixed torque. Okay, only this much torque you have to put, or this, yeah, this much torque you have to put to make this pen in correct. Otherwise, the pen will broke in some time, right? So this is kind of the check parameters that quality will have during your production. So this is what your quality will check during your production. This will not make sure that your final product after you make is having, quality issues or not. This the purpose of quality inspection during the production is to make sure you are following the right process, and after each activities the output is right. So this is the purpose of quality inspection that will be done during the production process, right? So now let's say the quality inspection is done and your production done. Production activities are completed, right? So production was executed by operator, production activities, then quality inspector was inspecting, then production activities are finally completed and we have the product ready. Then this product will be moved to store. Right. Now production team work is done, quality work is also done. Now production will be moved to store. That means the final product as a pen or as a car or that is ready now to sell it, right? So now production team says that, okay, I've completed the product, what you have asked. Now you can keep it in the store. So now also there can be an inspection done. This is called final inspection. Here during the making time, they might have inspected bits and pieces, because of each activity they might have inspected. Now, once the final product is ready and packed, here as a final inspection, this will be done as an audit inspection, or people will also call it as audit inspection in some company, that finally they will verify the product, including the packing, right? Because here packing will not be there, and also the functionality will not be tested completely. So here as a final product, they will inspect the performance as well as packing and all aesthetics things, right? So this will be a final inspection. Once this final inspection is completed, this will be moved to store or kept in the store. So now let's say in few companies, what they do is they store it, then they will sell it to customer. That means they will complete their production activities and they make the product ready and they keep it in the stock this month. And the next month when customer comes, I need this product, then this product will be sold to them. Now, when the sales order comes or the sales request is there and you have to deliver this product, right? So delivery document, then the delivery document is nothing but to indicate, okay, this product, this much quantity is going to be delivered to or shipped to the particular customer. Right? Now, once this is done and they identified which quantity of or which product they are going to sell, then here also an inspection will happen, right? Quality inspection. Yeah. So once they are ready to deliver, before delivering this product, an inspection will be performed just to make sure, because you made the product and kept in the stock for more than 1 month or more than some time. So then an inspection is needed. This inspection will be requested sometime by customer as well, right? So customer says, okay, before you deliver, you inspect and submit the certificate to me. During production, what you have inspected is not fulfilling my requirement. So a recent inspection certificate is required. So before you delivery, you make the test, sorry, you conduct the test and submit the certificate to me. So this is what triggers an inspection before delivery, right? So here also an inspection will be done. Now let's say this is sold to customer and sold and delivered to customer. Right? So now customer, okay, bought this product and they started using for some time, or they the first day when they opened the product they found an issue, right? So it is called a customer complaint. So customer is having complaint. This guy customer will communicate to the sales team that, hey, I bought this product and it is having issue. Now customer will raise this complaint and this complaint will be also communicated to quality team. And the sales team decided, okay, take back this product and we will issue the new product to them. Right now, when this part, the defective part comes in, right, receiving back, receiving the defective item, right? So this item will be received back. Once this is received in the site or in the manufacturing plant, here also quality will inspect. So why quality will inspect here? Just to make sure whatever the complaint is being raised by customer is having on the product or not, right? This is one reason. In some case, customer will send back the extra quantity as well. Okay, for example, 2 was ordered, 3 is been sent, and that one quantity will be returned. In that case, they will make sure the product what we got return is having the all the quality parameters, as expected. There was no damage, there was no scratch, there was no functional issues. So the quality will make sure that. So that is why when we will receive it back from customer, quality inspection will happen. Right. Now we will keep this in store. After quality will inspect, quality can decide whether to keep in block or scrap. That decisions quality will decide. So now we have seen the flow of buying, assembling, selling, and receiving the customer complaint, receiving the item because of customer complaint back. And so we inspect while receiving it back. Then let me go from the starting. We inspected when we bought the component. We inspected during the production, inspected after the production. We also inspected after we decide to deliver to the customer, right? So these are the main inspection process. Apart from that, there are also some inspections happens. For example, within the store, right? In store, from store, for example, you bought this item, you kept in the store. Now store will issue store warehouse, right? Or you consider as a storage location or storage area, right? Stored. Now when production asks, let's say you bought this item and kept in stock for 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months, then production starts a bit late. So production guys ask, okay, you give me that stock, raw materials and components. Now just to make sure there was no damage, there was no functional issues, or there is no aesthetic issues, here also an inspection can be done. Very rarely companies use this inspection, but still there are business process, some companies using uh, or doing inspection during this time when the stock is being issued from the store to production line. Right? So inspection, then issue to production. There are other scenarios like calibration. What is calibration? Let's say you have a production line. In production line, you will be using different machineries to make, right? Or equipments, whatever it is, equipments or any machineries or any small machines, for example, for packing and other one. And yeah, so there are also will be a measuring instrument to make sure that, okay, for example, you are saying your pen bottom cap should have 7 mm dia, you will be having a calibrator. Yeah. So this vernier caliper or any other gauges that you will be using to measure those the specifications, to make sure, because that is how quality will understand, okay, what specifications given and the product what they actually have is having a right quality level. So they'll be using measuring instruments throughout the manufacturing, right? So those equipments or measuring instruments are in perfect stage to make sure that there will be calibration done, right? So they used to calibrate that machine by hiring a different calibration third parties, or that also will be done internally in any companies. So after that calibration done, right? After any service done in other way to the equipments, so there can be an inspection will be done. So calibration or service. Here also one inspection will be done. Inspection, right? Quality inspection to make sure the calibration is done, or after the service your equipment is working perfectly, right? That's the repair service, right? So these are the major inspections that happens in any manufacturing industry or any processing industry, let's say. So apart from this, we also have few other inspection, but they are rarely being used. And name it, we also have one more inspection that is called recurring. Recurring inspection. This will be normally used in the process industry, like pharma industry or any other food processing industry. What is this recurring inspection? Let's say you bought and kept a expiry relevant product, right? You bought and kept some chemicals which is having an expiry. For example, you bought a chemical A which will expire in 6 months, right? So to keep monitor this chemical that it is having good quality, because this chemical also will be having certain condition that this should be stored in this much temperature and cold condition, or like any other environmental condition we have to maintain for this chemical. So there are conditions. So only then that chemical will stay in good condition. So chemicals need to be monitored periodically, right? So that is the reason any industry will use this recurring inspection. It's very rarely being used in manufacturing. Normally, this will be used in chemical industries and any food processing industries. So this is called recurring inspection. So, so these are the inspection majorly performed in any manufacturing or process industry. Or when I say process industry, chemical industries, food processing industries, or called as process industries, pharmaceuticals and other industries. Yeah. So we have inspection when we buy the part, when we make the part, when we finally made that part and keeping in store, and when we before we deliver to customers, after we receive a complaint and receive back the product from customers. We also have separate inspections like before issuing it to production, and calibration inspection for equipments and the measuring instruments, and the recurring inspections. We will be seeing all this in detail during our other sessions. So do we have any questions? Good. I think nobody has questions. So we will see in detail.
Muru,
Yes.
did I pronounce your name correctly? I'm sorry.
You can call me Thiru.
Thiru, okay, Thiru
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
Thiru, this is only the syllabus you are talking about.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
You're going to cover in the further sessions.
No, we have some more contents to cover for this session. So
These are the business processes.
Yes, this is business process, how in any company happens, just to give a warm up for the freshers who doesn't know anything about the industry.
Oh, thank you, Thiru.
Yeah.
Just No.
Maybe Purna, you can get the content of the course from Bhupinder. Hopefully, he can share the content. It was shared in the last
Yeah,
session of
yeah.
the demo.
Yes,
You can get
yes,
that.
yeah.
Let me also show the contents quickly since you asked. Can you see my screen, Puna?
Yes, I can.
So
Yes.
these are the contents that we are going to cover, because this is what we are discussing now, introduction to business process, and we will see about S/4HANA roadmap. Then we will see about integration with other modules like this, and also we will see in detail how the quality planning happens in SAP, or how any inspection happens in SAP, and all the inspections in detail, whatever we talked about, which are all the areas we talk that inspection is there. Each area we will discuss in detail with system walkthrough, how an inspection will happen in SAP. Make sense? Okay, so we go back to Excel. Right. So in general, we understood what is business process and where all we have quality inspections, right? So we covered what is quality management business process. Now, give me a moment. We'll understand what is ERP and why an ERP is required, right? So ERP is called as enterprise resource planning. So why an ERP is required to any manufacturing industry? Since you know that we have many processes or many different processes or many different set of processes are being followed by different departments, right? To keep them everyone aligned with the standard process what companies suggest, right? So for example, if company says, if you are the sales department, you have to get the sales request, then only you have to check the stock availability, then you have to communicate the stock availability to customer. Then if customer is okay, then you have to create the sales request, then that demand should go to production team. So if company says, always you should follow the same process, right? So nobody should bypass the process. Now, company should make sure that they are following that process was suggested by company. Then you need a software tool which makes sure that everybody follows same process. So to align and be systematic or systemized. So why we need is SAP to align with all the departments, or to be a systemized and adhering to the company standards or the standard process, right? What company expects. So to keep everyone aligned to the company standard policies and procedures, to follow the quality standards, they need to have a ERP, right? ERP is a software tool, because we have many ERPs in the market today. We have Oracle, just to name it. We have Bond. We have many ERPs like this. We also have SAP. SAP is one of the ERP in the market, right? So why we are using ERP? Just to have everybody aligned to the company's policies and standards, and they are following the company standard processes as expected by the company by the management. Also to have hassle-free process, because if everybody follows their process, there will be no visibility to management what is happening. So at the top level, to understand what is happening in each department, to understand all the activities are happening correctly as expected, they need an ERP. So which makes easier to the people who works, because they are already guided with the activities, what they have to do and how they have to do, right? Also, the company gets benefits by centrally viewing what are the departments doing, what currently activities going on, and where they are lagging, right? So to understand, they need a software to align everybody in single line, right? Now, why SAP as a ERP? Why not others? Right? So why SAP? So SAP, people are going for SAP because it is centralized. Centralized ERP. What is mean by centralized ERP? As we saw here, we have many departments in any manufacturing company, right? Sales should communicate to logistics and stores, then they communicate to production, they communicate to HR, they communicate to procurement, and they communicate to finance, right? So there are various departments in any company, and each departments you have multiple people working, and every one of them has their activities and their targets and tasks to be completed, right? And everywhere there is a financial transaction, or there is a quality standard related transactions, or the protection related transaction, they everywhere business happens actually. Each and every department is, or their activities are very important to the business as a whole company, right? So everybody should communicate or improve the communication between all the department, and everybody should have traceability or be transparency of, you know, what is happening or what is tracking in the other department. Which means, for example, if you buy a product or if you buy a raw material, production needs a raw material, and they already requested purchasing team or buying team, buyers, to procure that. So what is the status? Now production team should start the production, because they are getting pressure from the sales team that we have to deliver to customer. Now production asked suppliers, production asked buyers to get the raw material. Now production should go to the purchasing team or buyers, and they have to follow up with them when the raw material will come. Did you purchase it already, or the payment goes to supplier already, or so what supplier said. So they'll have to follow a lot with buyers to get that information, right? Instead, if you have SAP as it is centralized, that means all the informations are kept in the centralized server, right? So for example, each department will be considered in SAP as a module, right? Quality management is module, production is a module. It will be called as production planning. Then finance will be called as a module. Then your HR will be called as a module, and store will be called as a module, store and procurement. And in fact, we have warehouse also, which is also supporting this procurement, logistics, right? Procurement, store, and issue. So like this, every department is having a module in SAP. That means we set up task, set up transactions, right? They can execute on their own in each modules, or I would say in each department. And all this information can be centrally viewed. Right? So how many inspection requests are pending with quality managements? How many lots are waiting for quality management clearance, because quality team is having they kept the stock with them and not clears. Yes, that information can be seen centrally. And for production, sales team can see what is the status of production now, how much quantity is made, or so that how when I can deliver the customer. Or the sales team can get that what is the available date that I can confirm to customer. Yes, you can see from here. You no need to go to production planning team or the shop floor team and check with them. Okay, tell me how many days you are going to take to make this product or when you can deliver approximately. So they can get this information centrally from their seat, right? So this is how this SAP ERP is working centrally, that it connects all the departments centrally, and they can view the other information which is necessary to their internal process or business processes, right? So every modules are connected centrally and all the information is shared and being used. So this is how many companies goes for SAP, and SAP is the leading ERP in the market today, because we also have other ERPs, but they are good at one thing, but they are not having completely centralized one. If you take Oracle, people says finance will be good in Oracle, but production execution and quality management, they don't have more scope, they don't have more options, or they don't have more visibility, right? So like this, we have pros and cons with other ERPs, so that SAP is being used by more and more manufacturers and process industries today. So that's why we are number one in market. So this is what about why people are using SAP, right? So now we will try to understand the quality management processes in detail, right? So first we said, when the material is purchased, an inspection will happen, right? So a purchase order is raised, so material is going to be procured. Once supplier sends that material, an inspection will happen. Now what is the process flow happens for this inspection? This inspection, in general, it will be called as incoming inspection. Now, this is very important. So these are the processes that we are going to cover. So one is, the number one is incoming inspection. What is incoming inspection? When the material is bought out, quality team will inspect and make sure the bought out item is having good quality. They don't have issues. If there is issues, what they will do? All the processes will be covered under incoming inspection in SAP, right? So what is incoming inspection? I told. So for this in SAP, they will be using a inspection type, just to indicate what kind of inspection it is. In standard SAP, we will have 01 as an inspection type. Now, how this incoming inspection happens, right? So let's say we have already placed a purchase order. That means purchase request to a supplier. Now supplier sends back the material. That means in SAP, we will receive that material, right? Now receiving that material means we will call it as goods received. Right? Goods received. Goods received is nothing but you are formally receiving inside plant. So right. So when the material should come in, we have to do goods receipt. That means it will create a document, right? That's what happens in SAP. It creates a goods receipt documents to keep evidence that you received of this product in this much quantity from this supplier, right? So you do a goods receipt. When the goods receipt is done, system will create an inspection lot. right? Inspection lot. Inspection lot is nothing but an inspection request to the quality person, right? So material is received. Now system, if we are using SAP, right? Now we will get into SAP. So when we are using SAP, how the software work is, when you receive the product, an inspection lot will be created automatically, which is nothing but an inspection request to the quality team, right? So where they can go and see, okay, this is the material and this much quantity to be inspected. Now inspection lot will be created. Now quality team or the inspector will inspect and they can record the results. Because they have to capture the evidence that they have created. So they have inspected and they also captured what was the results. So this will be for future reference. If somebody asks, okay, on what basis you accepted or on what basis you rejected, right? So they can record the results. So this is all we are seeing after we start using SAP. What are the process that we have in SAP? Because that is why we use software, right? That is why we are using ERP to keep our process systematic and aligned with other departments, right? Now, the procurement team purchased and the store team received this material, it creates an inspection request to quality. So this is how it is integrated, right? So they receive the material and it goes to, it triggers a request to quality, come and inspect this material, right? So now with that request, they go and inspect that material and they can capture the results in SAP. Then they can give a decision. So then they will give decision. That means quality will decide to accept or reject. Right? Quality will accept or reject based on the inspection results they got. If, for example, 7 mm dia should be there, they got only 5.5 and which cannot be used further, so they can reject it. So that decision quality will take. Now, let's say before taking the decision, there also a process will be called in any manufacturing industry. When they capture the results or when they inspect, if there is any deviation to the spec, when I say deviation to the spec, as I said, if it was required to be 7 mm, but they received from supplier with 5 mm dia, then this will be created as NC. Right? Non-conformance. People will call it as non-conformance or non-conformance registry. Right? So they call it as NC. So in SAP also, in SAP, we will create it as defect. Okay, so they capture results. If results was not okay, they will create defect. Let's keep it in low.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
So defect, then this defect, let's say to be notified to the purchasing team that we got this defect, or this defect to be notified to the production team, hey, we bought this item, we received it, but this is not okay. We maybe reject this and we will try to get the replacement, because this information is very vital to the production team because to plan their production. Now, that is how SAP gives option, right? Quality notification. It's a big topic. We will see in detail what is quality notification, right? So when there is a NC, that NC to be communicated to different people, and that should be reviewed with different, with a big group, and that's all the disposition activities to be captured in a document, then this quality notification is designed in SAP. So they capture the results. If there is any defect or the result was not okay, then they will create defect and quality notification to intimate other people's and document the complete process. Now let's say the defect is reviewed by different people and they say, okay, we will not accept this. Let's say quality is saying that, okay, this is out of spec, which was requested 7 mm, but I received 5 mm. Now quality team will send notification to production and ask, okay, whether this 5 mm can be used. Now production says, no, it cannot be assembled. Then that's the decision comes, right? So they capture the decision in quality notification as a document. Then quality will decide, yes, this will be rejected. If they says, or if quality finds all results were okay, then they will accept, accept or reject. Right. So accept or reject. So they receive, they inspect, they capture the results, then they take it, any defect is there, they capture the defect. If there is no defect, they take the suggestion directly, and if there's defect, then they take the suggestion as reject. Now if they accept, what happens? If they accept the accepted material, will be stored errors, and that will be further used to production. If it is rejected, as I told, so as I told earlier, they will be returning to supplier, or they will scrap, or they keep in the block stock till they take further decision, right? So this is how your incoming inspection flow happens. Receive material, inspection request will be created in SAP. With that inspection request, we can capture the results. With that inspection lot reference, we can create quality notification. We can take decision. All will be captured in the system. So in future, after 1 year, if somebody goes and sees, okay, when they receive this material, what was the inspection results and what was the defect happened, how they rectified those defects, everything can be seen as a document. So this is why we use software, right? To keep everything recorded and keep everything systematic. Right? And anybody, anytime they can see the information. So this is incoming inspection flow. Now, if goes to in-process inspection, that is nothing but inspection during production. This we call it as in-process inspection. So the inspection type being used is 03. Because this is important. What inspection type? Yeah. Because in SAP system understand only this numbers, right? So which type? So that type is 03. 03 means in-process inspection. What is in-process inspection? The inspection being carried out during any production process, right? That is called in-process inspection. So how the flow goes? As we talked earlier, a production order will be created. Then production order. Once they create production order, they will review all the stock availability and other things. Then they will release production order. That means the production order is just to confirm, okay, we have to make this and we are waiting for this raw material. Then once the raw material is there, they will release. What the release means, what? Release means the shop floor can kickstart their production, right? That is called a release. A release means once this information is released, this production order detail will be communicated to the shop floor team that, okay, you start this production activities for this much quantity of this material, right? So once this is released, an inspection request will be created automatically. It's nothing but inspection lot in SAP, right? So now inspection lot is created automatically. This is a request for quality team. Yes, this production is started. You have to inspect this, right? So now for production team will start production and quality team will be inspecting after each operation or after 5 operation means nothing but, for example, in any manufacturing sectors, right? There will be activities like turning, cleaning, or like what activities I can say, assembly. You can take any small assembly, wire assembly, or any kind of activities to make a product. For example, you have, because this will be performed in steps in production. For example, first activity, they do machining of a particular bar stack, and two, turning, or to keep it in simple way with our example, so assembling the bottom and top cap. Filling the refill, filling the ink, top cap, final check, quality check. For example, in this case, first they will do fill the ink to refill, then they do bottom and top cap assembly, then quality check will happen, then packing, or in between this as well, like after filling the ink, quality check. Right. So after each operations, they can do quality inspection and this in process inspection, right? So if you take a pen as example, if you follow these many activities, filling and assembling the cap, so you can do quality check after every operations to make sure that ink is filled properly and it is writing good and the assembly is made properly, there is no damage, there is no scratch. Yes, then the packing will happen, right? So this is called in process inspection. During the production process, if they do need to check or make sure any quality parameter, there will be inspection. So, right, so this is in process inspection. Now automatic inspection lot will be created. Yeah, now after those inspections, they can capture the results. After each operation, they can capture the inspection results. Record their inspection results, then they can take usage decision. Right? So for example, they have checked over all the operations till they complete their product, and finally they can give decision this is accepted or not. Right? So this is what your in process inspection. So in terms of final inspection, you will see them in details in SAP, also like how each process steps happens, how the order is released, how inspection log triggers, and how we will record results. So this is just to give you overview of how inspection process happens in SAP and general flow. Right? And also I'm just trying to mix the terminology and to keep you understand what is the incoming inspection in SAP and what it is in general, right? In final inspection, so final inspection is in SAP it is called as 04 inspection, right? This is the number. This is just type that indicates its final inspection. Right? So when final inspection will be triggered, when the goods receipt happens from production. What is goods receipt production? As we said, we completed all our 4 or 5 activities to make that product. Now product is packed and ready to keep in the store so that it will be delivered to customer. Now, before we keep it in the store, quality would like to have a final check on that. There might be a random sampling that they out of 100 they might take 2 or 3 and they will check okay all packing and others good and as overall product the functionality is good, so they just to make sure this the quality will inspect. Now goods receipt from production happens, now an inspection lot will be automatically triggered. Yeah, it's a inspection request to quality that this is going to be kept in the store, so you inspect. Right, so quality will inspect, again they can capture that results, capture the results, then they take usage decision. If there is any defect, they create defect and quality notification. So then they take usage decision. Right, so this is what a final inspection flow looks like. So each step has transactions and process in SAP that we will see how they receive, how they see the inspection log, or how they will capture the results, or how they can create defect and notification, and how can they record the usage decision, right? So this is final inspection process. So like this, the process will be happening for other inspection as well for delivery. Only the triggering will be different for each inspection. For example, in this case, it is triggered from goods receipt from production. It is triggered production order from production order release, and this is triggered from goods receipt from the supplier. So the trigger for the inspection is different, but the process as a whole, they get an inspection, they record results. If there is any defect, they capture the defect. If this to be communicated to be different people and they have to take collaboratively decision, then quality notification will be used. And then finally, they can do the usage decision, how they record the usage decision. Right? Usage decision is nothing but the decision that to accept or reject that product. If they say I accept it, then it will be kept in the store. If they reject, then it will be returned to customer, or they can be kept in the block, or they can be scrapped. There are various scenarios that we will see in detail. So in general, this is how inspection process happens in SAP or any industry. Not of SAP, they are following like this, because this is how the steps happens or the process happens in any industry. First they receive, then they inspect, then they capture the results, then if any defect is there, they create NC, then they take decision. So the same process is mapped in SAP in such a way that they can capture the document in every stage of their process in any industry, right? So any questions? You can unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Okay. Boring.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hello,
Yes. Tell me.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a standard operation process. Like
Yeah.
if we receive the material means we need to check.
Mm-hmm.
After that, if it is okay means if we accept. If it is not
Mm-hmm.
okay means we provide NC.
Yes.
In that, what we will do? This is like a process,
Mm-hmm.
but what we will do if I get if work as a position, this position.
Right. 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 So in that, what you do is, this is, you understood now the standard process. This is how any industry works, right? Now in SAP, we will be seeing the same process steps, and we will be understanding how each process being done, right? Now that we will cover in the upcoming session. And why you have to learn is because first you have to understand what are the functionalities that we have in SAP. Then only we will be able to consult to other companies, because SAP consulting, the role you will consult to the customer how to use the SAP software and what are the options you have in SAP. Okay, that is the end goal for you, right? To become a consultant. So to become a consultant, first you should know what are the standard process being followed in any industry in terms of quality management. That is number one. Now that is what we are covering, right? What are the standard process that any industry follows when they buy or when they sell, when they make, right? Now once you understand that process, we will be teaching you how this process being done in SAP. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So we will be teaching you how you will be following this process, or how you will be making this process happening in SAP. That means all the transactions we will be teaching you. Once you
okay.
are familiar with that, we will be teaching you how you have to set up the system to process in that way, right? You understand the process first, then you understand how you will be doing this in SAP, then you will understand how to set up this process. That is your final stage where you can become a consultant, so that you can consult to other people, tell that okay, you follow this process, or you have to do things in SAP like this. And if you need, because the customer comes to you like this, if you, for example, if you work in any project to implement SAP, right? Customer will come and tell you this one or this one. This is how customer will give you requirement, right? So if I purchase, so I purchase, I receive, then quality will inspect, then quality will take decision, then quality will take NC, then quality will move it, allow to move it to store. This is how customer will tell you. This is my business process, right? Now you have to tell him that how he can do in SAP. Then if he asks anything extra, then you should be aware of how you have to set up it in SAP. So for all these things, first you should understand what is the process that they are being followed. Then only you can consult them how they have to use it as SAP. So
Okay.
we are doing the first step now. We are understanding what is the business process being followed across the industries, right? Then we are understanding how we are doing step by step in SAP. Then the same thing we will be teaching you in SAP how you can execute. I will not teach anyone here directly to the configuration, that is system setup. System setup we will do at the end or nearing to the end, right? So we will first teach you how to execute all the transaction, get you familiar there. Then we will teach you how you set up in background for each steps that you are following the front end. So that is how this training program is designed. First, we will teach you what is the business process. Then we will teach you how you have to do it in SAP. Then we will tell you how to set up that in SAP. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I have one more question. After end of the every session, I hope you will share the session presentation and
Yes, this
and
recording
config
will be
documents.
shared, Purna. So you can review this recording.
No config documents and no present, no notes. Recording in the sense only this video. No
This
config
video.
documents are here.
Yeah, config documents we will share you separately, because that we haven't reached the config one. Or if you're asking for any specific presentation.
No, every day I hope in the session itself you will make the notes, right? I hope you will share that notes also, right? For every
Yeah,
scenario.
this notes I will keep, and I will share this notes because this will be there in the recording as well. Or if you want this notes also, we can share.
Okay, okay, that is fine.
Or if you're looking for anything specific, you can tell us, because we are in the initial stage. We can make it up, whatever needs. It's a reasonable ask. Yeah.
That is it. I'm just looking at config as well as just let us know, how to prepare a BP for our QM.
I will make you how to make you to understand how to config. So you might be not required a separate document, but if at all you required, we have a document. But the intention of this training is to make you to understand how to config, right? So don't worry about that. We have the way to go for it. And yeah, specific documents if you're looking for, okay, this to configure this is the step
Just
you
I'm
have to follow.
thinking
Yes,
about
that's
the PowerPoint presentations. If you have any, just if you have any PowerPoint presentations, if just share with us. Otherwise, okay, that's fine.
No issues. Yeah. I'll see, because we haven't planned any presentation to put, because we thought showing it in Excel and walking you through step by step will have more effective. So in fact, if you
That's great.
required PowerPoint, we can also share that. That's not an
No,
issue.
not required. Not required. If
Yeah.
you are following this way, not required. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or any other suggestions? How many of you are not clear or feeling like you have been put on somewhere, you don't know which direction you have to go?
Thanks, Thiru. I think we can wind up for today.